Hey.
Welcome to my channel. My special guest here is Stone the Crown. You might remember her, my BFF from down under.
Tag team buddies, mate.
Yes, and we're here to talk about true trans, controversy,
True,
and all the drama that surrounds it.
true trans, true trans. So
Well,
is this technically a debate, or is this
there's
like
no debate. Come on.
is this like an anti-debate?
Right, this is me laughing at everybody who debates it because it's fucking ridiculous. It's up down. Men are not women. That's a fact. I don't even know why a woman would ever ask a man, what's a woman? Why are men debating what's a woman? They all came from one. They're so stupid, pretending not to know. Everybody knows.
It's and I think very, very disappointing recently. Very, very disappointing. Um like I understand have a conversation, but
Yeah,
at no part, I'm engaging or indulging a man
I'm
at
not
all.
putting up with any of it. Actually, I don't think there should be a conversation with men about what womanhood is. I think we should just tell them all, fuck off, you have no idea, stop being a clown.
Well, that's still a conversation, but
Yeah,
that's um, like I
nobody's
just
like
how do you take it seriously? That's the thing. How do you take a conversation with a man and a woman talking or debating this? How can you? I can't. I struggle to actually take
Let me
the
show you what I think
conversation
about that one.
seriously. And how is it not a parody? I mean, by default, it has to be a parody, right?
Yeah, it's like asking a fish what it's like to live in water. Well, live outside of water. Like the fish can't talk, first of all, but if it could,
Well, I
that's a
think
mansplaining to us.
well, we speak English, yes, and numerous languages, but I know myself being with my husband this year for 30 years. Yeah, I'm not shitting you. 30 damn years that I can still explain something a million damn ways and he still doesn't understand what I'm saying because I'm saying it from a woman's brain, a woman's existence, a woman's
Only
body,
their
a woman's
experience.
life. He still doesn't get what I'm saying.
Of course, because he doesn't live it. Sorry, he will never understand the female experience. And none of these men, no matter how feminine, they might define us. They want us to be like this role, but we are not whatever men say they are, that we are, or whatever they want to claim. It is like this. This is how ridiculous. They are not magical unicorns that can change sex. They have no idea what it is like to be a woman.
No, there's it's
That's them. Whatever they don't want to hear, but it's the truth. We're not defined by what they think.
I wish that was a bubblehead in my car.
When they say respect my pronouns, this is really what they mean. They want to be
Yeah,
authority on what is a woman. They're just not. We are.
the it's all and I have to agree. Um, and again, I don't agree with everything Kelly J says, but it starts and ends with the language. It really does. Once you the whole idea of there's some nice ones and there's some bad ones, but we're not talking about nice people, bad people.
No,
We're
this is
only
not your
talking
Nigel.
about
This is reality or not reality.
we're only talking about men. There is only men.
And we don't have the right
And
say
then
in them.
you can debate nice men, bad men, stinky men, fucking whatever later on.
Men
But
with pink bows and glitter, they're still men.
it's just it's men. Men, no matter how they want to
If you
present
call a woman, you're
themselves.
just being a liar. Like, I'd rather be rude than be a liar. If they're going to call us rude, Nazis, whatever, I'd rather be any of that than be somebody who's living a lie.
That's right. Or somebody who is engaging in somebody else's lie.
That's us, the witch is burning.
Like
Wrong.
in good faith, You don't go and indulge the person with schizophrenia with their multiple voices in their head, you know, like and
You
this
still
is
have young people standing.
yeah. So I suppose this is where what we're getting at is when you debate somebody, a bloke, right? If you're going to debate a bloke on what is a woman, you're debating the nature of reality.
Yes, you are.
That's the false start.
Finds it as in his head.
Yeah. So that's the false start. And right there, BF, that false start is where we got thrown off the path in the first place, because the TRAs and the trans hit us with this whole narrative of there was no debate, right?
On their side, because they wanted to define everything by their definition.
I just think that was to get our backs up, right? That was to get women's backs up so that we would get into this sort of debate. And they're like, no debate, where we should have been on the path or whatever of no debate from the get-go. It should have been women that should have been standing going, there is no fucking debate in this.
Yeah,
not allowing the TRAs and the LGBT, LMNOP, soup dictating this no debate. The women should have said from the get-go that there's no fucking debate. We're not debating reality. We're not debating the nature of existence. We're not going to do that. That's our false start right there.
The men say that, you know, we're jealous of their she-ness and their femininity and whatever the fuck they think they are, beautiful and brave, that we are the jealous ones, while they're the ones dressed up trying to pass as one of us. I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
That's right. And
I love this game. This is a woman putting them in their place, you know?
I think we got bait and switched the no debate. We got bait and switched. That should have been our stand from the get-go. We're not debating what a woman is, period.
We're TERFs. We tell them real facts. There's no debating a fact of reality. Like,
no.
You don't magically become something else because you say so.
That's
I don't
right.
become the Queen of England because I say so. Like, nobody does.
That's right. You're already standing in truth. Full stop. There is no my truth, your truth on this. There is truth. Full stop.
Well, this is what the book of alternative facts. You could just name anything something else.
That's exactly right. Why not?
It's just really confusing to call a bird a butterfly or a man a woman. And this is how they're like brainwashing children. You can't realize, you don't know what a definition is. You have to ask the authority of men.
So now we're actually talking about selling a product, right?
Yeah.
Because I, in my uber awesome Shiro cup here,
trans is a snake oil.
I've got what they call chamomile tea. Now, Mr. Mano, and this is going back a few years ago, right? Mr. Mano pointed out chamomile ain't no damn fucking tea. Tea comes from the tea plant. This is a chamomile water infusion or chamomile water. But they're not selling too much chamomile water at your local shops now, are they?
No, they want to call it something else because it's more appealing.
That's right. So again, look at soya milk, almond milk, and oat milk. None of that shit is milk. All it is water. With it squeezed out, you're drinking almond water. You're drinking, you're drinking oat water. You're drinking soya water. Do you know what I mean? So if you're starting with the right context in the first place, so they're literally selling us this idea of trans by making it sound more than what it is.
Because they're trying to make the unnatural a natural thing, and it just doesn't work.
That's right. That's right. So here's to my chamomile water infusion. I'm really enjoying that, and that's where I'll be talking, you know, because again, we got to start off with the language in the proper place.
Like you said, you can't milk an almond.
I can get those little seeds, little tiny seeds, and milk those little almonds.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be there all day.
So all these advertising people play these games where like they rebrand things ridiculously. And it's so unpopular to have hormones in your beef, but now you want it in your kids, artificial hormones, when they make their own. Like, it's just like, why would you stop what's good with puberty blockers, with natural and timed correctly and meant for their bodies, and then just pump them with wrong sex hormones that you don't know what the fuck it's gonna. Well, actually, you do know what the fuck it's gonna do. It's gonna do paralyzing, their brain growth, block them. Who wants these things? But they would never advertise it like that.
Yeah, but they're not gonna call it. I can't believe it's genital mutilation, or
Right.
I can't believe it's sterilization. They're not going to call their drugs that, are they? They're puberty blockers, or they like, I can't believe it's not butter.
And this is why they're mad at fucking the Turks for telling them the truth, because people who live a lie hate the fucking people who call them out on it. They don't really want to face the reality. They want to buy the fairy tale.
That's exactly right. So when you call it for what it actually is, not for what we're being sold it is, it's a different thing entirely, right? So if mathematically, and I sucked at algebra, so please go with me, if trans equals fake, we've heard that before.
Yeah, that's
then,
all it equals.
Then it's fake woman.
Lies.
There's no real women. If you're true trans, then you're true fake woman. So how can you
never define that? It's always like
woman?
What level of surgery makes it true trans when it's all just a mimicry of trying to be women? This is my true Halloween costume. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, that's right. I always say I've got a slinky dog tattooed on my arm, and I can move it. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me a Disney movie. I'm not an animated movie. I'm a woman with a slinky dog tattooed on her arm. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get slinky power when I drive my car. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah. Maybe you can make a Disney movie out of it. I don't know.
But it's calling it for what it is. It's so very important. And I think there's been a couple of these conversation interviews going down in the last few weeks, and how can you start with a false pretense to be nice?
How can you start with a false pretense that it's debatable? It is not debatable. It's debate reality. That's like saying, I'm going to debate today if human beings have two legs just because somebody can lose an leg. It doesn't change the whole reality that people have two legs. It's a known fact. Nothing changes that.
Well, I mean, look, if you use their pronouns, it's fucking ridiculous. You're already setting off lying through the interview, right? But if you don't use the pronouns and interview them, then you're allowing them to step off the debate with an absolute fucking lie.
Well, that's the thing. They don't debate anybody who's not going to cuddle them. Every single time you see a woman debating a troon, the woman's already said she to this guy. I've never seen a troon be willing to have a conversation with a one that says, you're a fucking man. Like Kelly J does this thing where like she encounters them and she tells them off, but it's not a debate. That's properly putting them in check. But these women that want to debate them, they cuddle them and be like, I'm going to play along a little bit so you feel comfortable coming on my channel. They'll give them a little bit of attention and they'll let them, go off on their little tangents. And they say it exposes themselves, but really, you're just submitting women to like this standard where you're being polite to perverts. And these men are getting off knowing that they're talking to women and they're getting their moment of attention where they have the authority that you gave them.
I don't understand.
All about themselves.
I suppose I'm in that part where I don't understand where you're giving them a platform to expose themselves when they've already exposed themselves by the fact that they reckon that they are something that they're not.
Right. I mean, anyway, all the media has them. It's not like you need to find them and like there's some secret No, they're in your ear 24/7 telling you what a woman is. There's none of these things that they ever say that is original that we haven't heard a million other times. Why can't you just clip it from some other shit and be like, yo, this is fucked up, like Karen Davis does. She listens to the tunes all day on their own words and she calls it all out.
She's a queen.
But they don't never have a conversation with Karen Davis because Karen Davis would fucking rip in the shreds, you know?
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I wouldn't debate Karen Davis. No damn way. The woman's extremely intelligent. And
she about Kelly J is because they feel like they can intimidate her because she's so tiny.
Yeah. Yeah. She's the same height as me, mate. She's literally a short ass.
They just want to be like, we're the law, you're a Nazi, and we're going to kill you. That's the reason why they step up to her. But they don't do no online stream with Kelly J. They never will.
I think it was Adelaide here in Australia. I may be wrong, so please forgive me. It was on the steps of Adelaide, I'm pretty sure. And there was that man that got to the top of the steps there, and he had been butting in and heckling her the whole time, and she didn't once give him a platform.
No, she's too good for that. She knows that, and she knows there's this thing as a debate with them. She wants to like shut them down. This is what we all should be doing, telling our daughters and our other women around us. We don't have to pay them attention. We don't have to listen to their idiocracy about what a woman is. They have no insight on that.
None.
Right.
None. The body is the experience. And if you say I'm a woman of trans experience, no. You're a man of an experience of wearing a dress.
Yeah.
That's your experience of body modifications and dresses. There is no man that experiences being a woman.
I always knew it was like full-time drag. I did drag and like people thought I would be sympathetic to this. And I'm like, no, I put on a show. I know what I'm doing. I don't become magically a man because I draw some little mustache on my face or because I'm a butch woman or, like. And then they always say that I'm the man in the situation. I'm like, look at me. My frame is very small, petite. Like, there's nothing about me that's not a woman. Unlike these men, no matter what they do. There's nothing I can undo or do to change the fact that I'm a woman. There's nothing they can do or undo to, like, make them a woman. This is ridiculous. A Rot Pocket will not change the reality.
Look, I think we're pretty fucked up humans, hey, because being a woman is such a great insult for a man to do for another man. Like, like to say, oh, look at that, he looks like an ugly woman, or it's such a derogative term to belittle each other, men, by calling each other.
I've never seen one of these dudes were attractive. Even the ones that think past and look like porn, sick dudes. I'm like, nah, that's not an attractive woman. What are you talking about? It's
but it goes the other way for women too. If you're slightly unattractive or muscular, oh yeah, you look like a dude.
Or you simply have short hair.
That's right. Like I had a friend of mine years ago, and she's very athletic, like straight shoulders, beautiful posture, muscle, just gorgeous athletic woman. And she used to say, oh yeah, I've got a back like a bloke. I'm like, no, you don't. You've got a back like a really strong, athletic, fit woman.
There's different kinds of women. I don't understand why we think that a woman is boxed like a Barbie. Like, that is so not the truth of what being a woman is.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thank you. It was Perth.
Yes. Good afternoon to you all. Thank you for being in the chat.
So yes. So I have showed you my cup again. Sorry, yes. It is awesome. I got to do it. And not tip any tea. Not tea.
Well, tell me more about the latest on how in Australia somebody was basically copying Britney and her true trans debate and decided they want to do the same thing.
Yeah, so we've got a professor over here, Holly Lawford Smith, and she did a similar to Brittany just recently with the talking to a man in a dress and a man who says he's a woman.
One woman
And
platform, another it's just a chain reaction of women deciding that they need to, platform these pet
to do
truths.
this, yeah. And I think that, look, with Brittany straight up said, I won't use your pronouns, you know.
I saw her I saw a quote of her doing it, which is
So
sad.
even
Thank goodness.
yeah, well, even the best intentions,
Right.
because you're engaging and you want to be polite and you want to be nice. So as soon as you're already starting with the best intentions, but because you're not a complete asshole,
well, I will be the complete asshole. Fuck it.
you know. Again, that's right. But it's on YouTube. But Holly Lawford Smith, and she's from Melbourne. She used the pronouns, and I was a little shocked and surprised, and that she would use the pronouns. And there was quite an interesting conversation that flared up on Twitter actually between Holly Lawford Smith and Kelly J.
Well, that was totally a situation of the pet term, like this one's okay, and I will play along because I want to say that not all men, who personate us are like mocking us. Of course, they all are. I mean, they're all fetishists or, delusional, mentally ill, porn sick. There's no way you can go around and be like, it's a good idea to get fake tits as a man and say that's a woman.
Some of the points that Kelly J had made to Holly was absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, spot on. Like she's spot on. Why are we using women's language and women's pronouns? Why are we using that as a reward, right?
Yeah.
So this particular one is polite, well behaved, well to do, present themselves in a certain manner. So therefore, we will wave some magic fucking wand and give them the allowance, because they're obviously a good one, of this gift of pronouns. And I was like, I just don't think you got the right to do that on behalf of other women.
No, you don't. And it's not about respect. It is about authority. They have no position to be talking as women. They do not live as women. I am so annoyed. And like every time I hear somebody allowing a man say those words, I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, look, maybe there should be some sort of poll done on how many women actually, because I know in my talkings with average women, nobody wants to use this fucking language for any man.
Well, it doesn't matter if every woman agreed to this. It didn't matter if it's just wrong.
That's right.
It's womanhood.
Yeah, so one woman using a pronouns that belongs to our language for another man, I think, would you say, I don't know, would you agree with me? At that point, we have a handmaid.
Yes, I would say a troon femme. I call them troon femmes. Whenever they got a pet troon, or they're placating, or they're cuddling, or they're letting these narcissists go on with these conversations that they should be shutting down. I'm sorry. That's my line.
Like I've said to people, at what point does a man become a woman? There is no point. There is no at any spectrum can this happen. But at what point can a woman become a handmaid? And it has to be at the language.
Well, it could be many forms, because it can be allowing them in your bathroom. You don't even have to say a word. You'd be like, "Okay, girl, come in with me."
That's true.
You. Like You don't even have
That's
to say
true.
anything. Just allowing them there and being like cool with it is sending a message. Because all these trans will tell you, the girls that they hang out with all love them and all want them there.
Yes. Yes, lighting the motherfuckers.
If a million people say the world is flat tomorrow, it would not make the world flat tomorrow. You know?
No.
This is just an impossibility.
Yeah.
Everybody does know what a woman is because it's the one who's being there, paying attention to the man who centers himself. That's how all these conversations always go when you give them a mic.
But that's there's an underlaw in the universe. Gravity is one of them. The Wright brothers invented the plane, right? But gravity still exists. It's still there. Just because surgeons invented surgeries and certain pharmaceuticals does not mean that you've changed any sex or there's anything's
no gravity
happened.
at all anymore.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Like gravity's still there. Go run off a cliff and jump. I mean,
well, just because you're going to be in a plane doesn't mean you can be a bird. I'm not a bird because I can fly to New York, you know? Like,
yeah, you identify for that moment in time as a what do they call them? A flock of birds.
Not only am I a flock of birds, but I'm a super fast flock of birds that can go like, from Miami to New York in 2 hours. Come on.
Nuts.
I am super powered flock of birds.
So yeah, I think for myself, I was a little bit disappointed with the Holly Lawford Smith conversation, debate, no debate. Shouldn't have been a debate.
It's embarrassing if you're an academic and you're actually playing into the fantasies of these dudes and theoretically talking about womanhood like it's just an experience. It is not. It's a reality that we all live with. It is how, you know, when we get raped, we have to worry about pregnancy and STDs in a different way than a man would.
Yeah, there was one comment that Holly had made, and this one comment really I just went, I just can't believe she said that. And it was literally that the people today and society are sympathetic to these men, and we should be using that as some sort of way to get our message out there. And it's like, what?
No, exactly.
What
Give them more sympathy and give them more credit. That's an empathy trap. Is that we have to use their empathy to have people care about us as women? Like, that's insane.
Just because in this moment in time, a group of humanity is literally wrapped in a delusion, we're supposed to go to this thing that's lying and has a fetish because people are sympathetic and get.
I don't want to be sympathetic towards them. Sorry.
I was literally gobsmacked. I was like, what did I just read? What did I read?
I think it's just a way of trying to convince the hardcore women to buy into true trans. I think a lot of people are working for big pharma among us. I don't really think that's an honest, intellectually dishonest statement, is that we should be using these men for their sympathy to win us points. That doesn't work. It's totally against everything we stand for. The minute you legitimize this falsehood, women are no longer a reality.
Yeah.
We're discarded. What we have to see doesn't matter.
Yeah, look, we vet, like we go through vetting processes if we want to join a women's group or a feminist group. We go through a vetting where they might, Zoom us or whatever. But I'm telling TERFs now, vet your women's group. Vet them.
Yeah, I will not accept anybody who believes in true trans or has pet trans in my group. First of all, for the safety of the women involved. And second of all, because they're working for a different agenda. I am a pro-reality, enforcer. I want to change laws to, define womanhood in law to benefit us as women.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. Rather than, if trans equals fake, then how can you have a true fake? Oh, this one's a true one. I mean, it's just bullshit. It's just
Fucking
completely.
moron.
Yeah. So, again, and it works both ways too. If you're saying that there's real transvestites out there, that there's some real ones, and
The ones
that
that pass as the fake Barbie sex doll. That means that women that are not those fake Barbie sex dolls, like myself, automatically you're no longer women. What am I? I become a man. I'm a non-man.
They hate their VF. They hate their bodies, don't you know? They really hate their bodies. Well, how come if they hate their bodies so fucking much? There's so many in the sex industry, and there's so many. I mean, look, I've been doing a little bit of a bit of a deep dive research on Tallulah, which was the Bond girl in the 80s, the one that they snuck into the movie because, hey, we need that. We need that, we need that as women, watching our femme fatales in old 80s movies, be one of them actually be a bloke, because we need that. And I think his name was either Harry or Barry. So again, correct me if you know that, but they go by Caroline Cassidy nowadays. Now, one of the things that got me was they were a model, right, for women's clothes in the 80s. This person. So they've had the slip and flip, but they're supposed to hate their bodies. You go back and look, they were the first trans person to do a spread in Playboy.
Oh God!
Spread in Playboy. So you tell me how much that bloody person really hated their body. That does not sound like somebody that has an issue with their body.
Well, they have envy of us. Maybe they do hate their bodies because they hate us. They come from us and they can never be us.
That's right. But there's no I hate my body. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, let me show it off to everybody.
Yeah, it loves its body. It loves its
No, it loves its impersonation of us. It is a fetish to cheer on other men who think of us as nothing but a whole. It is like a man's party to be like, this is womanhood. It is fucking just a sex doll thing that you fuck. And let's get off on it together. It's circle jerk. Even if they don't even have anything to jerk anymore, it's jerking off other men.
Yeah. Well, it got found out after the Bonds movies, right? It got found out. And that caused a problem, you see, because the lie was found out. And they'll go and say, oh, because it was transphobia, yeah. No, it wasn't. You presented as something that you are not, sir. Your lie got found out, sir. Do you know? So again, you're selling a product that actually is under false pretenses.
And I don't believe these surgeries should even exist because we don't tell fat people, anorexic people that they're fat. We just don't lie to them and say
that's right. We don't tell
obese people they can actually remove fat. They can't.
That's right. You don't tell a morbidly obese person that you're looking a bit skinny. You probably should have some more Maccas.
Oh, you're trans fat. You're trans skinny. You don't even have to lose any weight.
Slender. Right? But you don't do that, right? Like
I'm trans defection, I would love to be taller, but
I'm a little chubby person. My son calls me a chibi because I'm short and I'm chubby. And you know what? It does me no favors if somebody tells me, oh yeah, you look, no. I carry more than I should. Let's be honest.
You can transphobia at them. It doesn't agree with your own personal image of yourself or what you would like yourself to look like.
Well, I'd like to be a 10-foot Amazonian goddess. Instead, I'm a 5'1" Australian potty mouth Sheila. So
that's the reality of what you are. Just imagine everybody treats you like that Amazon goddess because you ID.
That's right. Well, the train I was involved with 10 years ago, I was the Be Kind person. I made them that damn costume reenacting. I did all that. I was the nice go along person. Do you know? It doesn't help us. It does nothing to help us with these people to indulge their shit for 5 seconds. It does nothing.
It's just a complete waste of time. It's a nothing burger because that's all they have to add,
That's right.
What a woman is.
That's it. And
But
again,
that's when they don't really know. They just
I'm
go
ashamed
on
of
with
myself. Yeah,
sexist
ashamed of
stereotypes they
myself.
want to enforce.
Sorry?
I said they just go on with sexist stereotypes that they want to enforce. That is really why men push the true trans thing. The right wing loves gender roles. They want to say that we're nothing but, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's literally sold to us. So I'm a bit of a Tim Burton fan, right? Not even going to lie. I love my gothy
Okay.
shit. Go back and watch Dumbo, the movie Dumbo. In that movie, they literally show going into like the museumy part, they actually show a man in a stereotypical woman's dress from the 50s and a woman in a stereotypical suit. Like they literally have it in the kids' movies. Like, and I'm watching them, I go, okay, yeah, I see a lot of thing wrong with this. And it's not that we just can like swap out again. Once, you know, I don't dress atypically feminine.
Yeah.
I don't wear pink and fluffy. I don't even do pink, period. Do you know what I mean? I do prefer my long and flowies with skulls and actually I got my bleeding eyes on today. I do like my bleeding eyes. But
that's expression of femininity in its own right. It's an alternative expression.
that's exactly right. But again, I like my flowies, but that doesn't make it any more feminine or masculine. It's just the clothes
Like.
that I've got on my body, right?
Talk about Tim Burton movies. Okay, you know Nightmare Before Christmas. You watched it, right?
Yes, love it.
The whole point is be what you are. Jack the Skeleton decided he wants to ID as, Santa Claus. And look at how terrible that was.
Exactly.
It's the same story was going on with men IDing as women. It is a terrible idea. They're sterilizing themselves and they're not going to be having babies. No matter how much we're being told that 10 years from now they are going to be, it's impossible. Men's bodies was just doesn't even accept the blood of pregnant women. How can we say that they're going to be pregnant in 10 years? It's fucking nuts. Or they know it. They just want to sell the fantasy.
It's never going to work. It's never going to work.
Jack Skellington was trying to study Christmas, and he's not a character of Christmas. He got it so wrong that he was giving kids like these monsters. That's basically what trans is.
But it's true, it wasn't his fault. It's not his fault that he couldn't do it. Because he's not born. Yeah, it wasn't the body he was born in. Wasn't the
Jack, the Pumpkin King. He's not meant to be jolly old Saint Nick.
Well, it's like coming into my house, right? And my house literally looks a little bit like the Addams Family with my furniture and that, and I love that. But it'd be like me all of a sudden going, okay, it's like I'm never going to have the frilly shit in my house. I literally have
a pink nose coffin. It's not an impossibility. You could do that if you wanted. Like I dress up feminine if I wanted to.
Yes, but again, it's not going to be you though, is it?
No, I've done it, and trust me, it's not me. I know I was a character I was playing when I was paid to strip and all this other stuff, but it was about making money. I knew in my head, I was just like, God, I can't even believe that any of these guys buy this idea, but all men think, yeah, my dick is going to change things.
And that's
a challenge. Tell them I'm a lesbian, don't matter. They're just going to pay me until they figure out, hey, this ain't working. I'm not getting what I want out of it. But they can do what they wanted. They got to put me in an uncomfortable position, and entertain their fantasy, which was delusional.
Yeah. Yes, to be the one that can change you because you're just waiting for that one amazing penis out of the 8 billion on this planet. That one in 8 billion penis that's going to be.
Now guys think the gym is like their strip club because they can go in and see young girls changing without paying a penny.
Yeah, it's I was thinking the other day, right? What the fuck is it with the pillow fights and the thinking that women, when we get together and we crash at each other's place and that type of shit. What the fuck is it with that they think that
Too many
we're
movies,
like,
man.
yeah, I think
If I
that
did
that
have a pillow fight with women for fun,
yeah,
that would not be anything like a sexual condom, thing where like, oh my god, my clothes comes off. Unless I planned it that way with a woman. That's not what happens at a group party.
no,
Sorry.
I personally reckon that it's come from the movie Grease, right?
Yeah.
Like
Candy.
I'm I had a birthday a couple
Candy.
of weeks ago, and so I'm pretty old. And I remember watching Grease as a
That
kid
was my
on
favorite.
telly. And that fucking scene in the bedroom with Rizzo coming out singing about Sandra G and Frenchie, and that scene, that is the brain control, the mind control behind the pillow fight. That's true. If a man does get a blood transfusion from a pregnant woman, he can die.
Well, let's talk about your upcoming trip with Rex that I will be interviewing both of you on my channel, and I'm so amazingly, like hyped up to finally get Rex on my channel.
It's gonna be cool. So I am literally 1 week away from flying out of Australia to Wellington, New Zealand, to meet up with the Rex Landy, the awesome Never Surrender Rex Landy, and I'm a bit of a fangirl, VF, as you know. I get a
Wow.
little bit.
She's a
Ah,
reach from my
so
own heart. I gotta love that.
so I'm chuffed as I'm totally blown away to be able to hit Wellington and then go for a road trip from. So this is the North Island, from the bottom of the North Island to pretty much the top of the North Island on a road trip, to then meet up when Kelly J hits Auckland.
I'm so proud. I mean, so glad for you.
I
I
know
wish
it's
you
of
could
course,
that too.
yeah.
But
So
you have the honor of seeing her twice.
yes. Well, 3 times actually, because,
Yes,
I was I was the sound woman in the organising team when she came here to Brisbane, and then I flew from Brisbane to Melbourne, and I documented, which you can see on my channel, I documented her speaking in Melbourne, and that was the event where the Nazis showed up, and you can clearly see in my footage that us women have nothing to do with them. So I actually have the footage that proves that the women were not associated with those Nazis
everybody
whatsoever at
knows this.
all.
They're men. Like
Yeah,
we don't invite them at all. They just show
yeah,
up.
yeah, and that was also when
They don't
the
sound like
the
they
troon
can
who
come
grabbed the
from
microphone
anyone else.
tried to grab my equipment, and he got a nice stomp and a kick for his troubles.
That's how you treat a true.
Yeah, don't touch my shit. As I say, do not touch my shit. So it'll be 6 months. 6 months since Kelly J was in Australia, and 6 months since all that shit went down in Auckland. And I've actually heard a few people say that what happened in Wellington, but that's actually a mistake. What happened in New Zealand that went down where Kelly J got covered in the soup, that was in Auckland, not Wellington. So just
Okay.
to correct that um, mistake that's going around, it's Auckland, not
Yeah, hard to
Wellington.
keep track of all the places she gets attacked and how. Where, especially
Yeah,
when you don't live there, you don't really know. You just remember
yeah,
it kind of
exactly.
gets blurred.
Yeah, and that's it's. I think too, because when you experience that, like we all experienced it, all of us that watched that live, we all experienced some level of trauma from watching that live on YouTube with everybody else. Um, Also, not only was the trauma that, but the where we are in the world, not being able to help. So the for myself,
Yeah.
feeling absolutely useless, that I had no way that I could actually step through my iPad and
I
how
always say I would love to be Kelly J's personal bodyguard, even though I'm, a tiny little thing. But I would be quicker than the bodyguards that she did hire. I'll tell you that.
well, I can tell you one thing for fucking sure there, VF, my friend. I can tell you one thing. Eli Rubber Chicken, that dude who poured the juice on her,
Yeah.
there is no fucking way on this planet that he would have got that close if you were bodyguard, my
That's
friend.
right.
If you were there, you would not have been sitting next to them. They would have not got that close to Kelly J's inner circle. I don't believe if I was there.
I know that for sure.
Nah, it'd be none of that shit. None of that shit be going on.
Queen. We should be like, playing chess and where you protect the queen.
Fuck yeah. And actually, that was a meme that I made myself when I first started my channel was, and it was with the queen on a chessboard, and it says, if your piece isn't on the board, then you're not in the game.
Yep, that's what I feel about everybody who's not active. It's like, activate yourself. Be part of the turf team. We're safety in numbers.
That's it. And, look, sometimes shit don't work out. Sometimes it doesn't.
Like, the only division that I really care about is, like, okay, if there's a conflict of agendas, I will not work with somebody who's true trans or who wants the right wing to win, because that is not serving my goals as a feminist. My goals is to respect women, give us our rights, and win this trans thing. I don't want there to be any acceptable level of trans because it's all toxic. It's all about gender roles, which all, oppresses us.
That's right. I won't support true trans, and I won't support brands that support true trans. I just won't.
But there's also other drama that goes on in these communities, and you and me have had these conflicts, even though we're on other sides of the planet. We both face the elitism, that is a thing in our community.
Yeah, don't question anything. Don't speak truth, because if you do,
have problems with other women giving them the slightest criticism, and then they're like, "You are kicked out of our tribe." It's so much tribalism, and it works from the elites down, and they think they're like VIP turfs, like, and everybody else has to like shell out tons of money to be part of anything they do. I'm just like, we're ridiculous. We just need to get women out there in numbers.
Yeah, it happened in the suffragettes time. Yeah, happened in the suffragettes time too, where there's actually, there's a class element to this shit, right? There's a class element to this, and some women just honestly think that they're better women.
It's hard to afford the trips. It's hard to have the time, and it's even harder when you have to deal with all the elitism. Of course,
absolutely. I mean, I have had in an email, which I've read out on my channel, I've had in an email where a particular feminist group told me I don't make the standards. Put that in an email and sent it to me.
What is the standard?
So they're the two. I won't support true trans.
Right.
And I will never support a women's group that literally tells women that they don't make the standard. The standard of what? The standard of
exactly.
The only thing that qualifies you in this movement as a TERF is being born a female.
We're fighting for our rights. We all have entitlement to that and to speak up. I'm just like, why are you turning any woman down who wants to speak up about her experience and her rights?
Like,
we're never going to win if we don't have class, solidarity as women.
That's it. Sisterhood and solidarity, except for you.
Right.
What the fuck is that?
Where they were doing background checks on women, and they will out a woman in our community for like minor petty crimes, and like say that she's a convict or something. I'm like, dude, the trans community, they're like cheering on their sex offenders, and us, we'll fight for women in prison, but we won't let one afterwards come and join. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's the fact right there, right?
It's not like she was a violent criminal or something. I understand if there's an issue of female on female violence, but we're hypocritical because we have certain women in this violence, and this has been part of jail for crimes that they have,
Let's speak
mind on. We forgive them. but not the other lower class women who had minor.
I'll speak for her while she's still incarcerated.
Yeah.
But the moment she gets out, bitch, you don't join our fucking reindeer games.
It's so ridiculous. And the
You
victim
don't join
blaming,
our reindeer games.
the victim blaming of Jenna and Joey, you know, like, how dare we fight back if somebody comes and attacks us, or you for, you know, defending your microphone.
I've been called a wailing. I've been called a screeching banshee. A screeching banshee. So guess what? Sit down.
Saying that, you know, lesbians don't have penises, but Kelly J says it all day. I'm like, I'm saying nothing new. The only difference is you are kissing up to her because she's on the elite ladder, and I'm just a dyke from Miami. You know, like.
So I can't come here, VF. I can't come here with a list of things that I'm great at. You know what I mean? And nor should I have to. I shouldn't have to get this microphone and say, I have this qualification, this qualification, this qualification. I had education here, there, and everywhere. I've been to this activist. I shouldn't have to say any of that shit. The very fact that I was born female is enough. Is enough. I think it's great that women have these qualifications and amazing shit that they've invested in their life. I think that's fantastic. But you don't have to speak truth to this agenda with any of that shit.
No, I think every woman adds something, you know?
That's right.
And we need all women as a class, collective, not to feel like I need to be this, and this to even speak out. It's fucking ridiculous. The standard should be women speaking out about their experience. And we all support each other doing so.
You're allowed to question men and their dodgy shit, but don't you fucking question some women and their dodgy shit.
Oh,
fuck no. Fuck no. You know? The thing is, like, I'm not going to be following true trans, and I will not be following those who already think that some woman doesn't make the standard.
And also, you can't self-ID as my leader, okay? You think you're the leader of the movement because you've been doing this and this and this? Well, I'm sorry. I am not part of that, and you do not speak for me. This is like the Troon Femmes do not speak for me. They don't speak for all women. You cannot self-ID as my leader. You know, like, we're all in this together. I'll be there with you, but you're not going to be my leader just because you think you were there first. In fact, I've been here first because I was one of the lesbians who always was on the side of like, fuck you, you're dumb dude. What the fuck am I listening to you about? Only lesbian voices were not prioritized. And these women think that just because they got on Fox News, that they're inventing the wheel or something.
So at the end of the day, I'm never going to go and be where I'm not wanted.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fuckwit like that. I'm just, right, if I'm not wanted, that's
fine. I don't want to be in your club.
But I think that's something that's really important too. And we've talked about this a lot, the importance of being a one-person turf or a team or a two-person turf team, or you do with what you got. Turf Rocks on Twitter. Have you ever seen their Turf Rocks?
No, but I will check them out.
Yeah, please check them out. They get the little round river sort of rocks.
Okay, no, I do.
Write messages on them and put them. Love that.
There's millions of ways to turf and to protest. You don't have to do one style. You have to attract the Troons and invite them to all your things either. There's many ways to go about this where you don't have that conflict.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think too, for me, going from Brisbane to Melbourne and now over to New Zealand in 6 months. I mean, this has been a big year of turfing, even though you haven't seen a lot on my channel. It's been a really big year of turfing.
You've been on my channel a lot.
But I think it's really important to step back. Yeah, Turf Rocks with an S. I think it's important to take that time and step back and indulge in what is you and what makes you you. I'm not just a turf. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right, you have outside interest. We all do.
Yeah. Like this morning, I just said I've been out of my garden. My veggie garden is based as fuck. I'm a mosaic artist, and I do a lot of feminist and women-based art. So don't forget, TERFs, please take time for self, because this is a long fight.
I stay with my goth scene no matter what, and I'm telling you, like, everyone else might have their million, views on Fox News, but I have it on the underground. Okay, TERF is a new punk, and it is coming out and becoming a thing. My jacket alone has 2 million hits because it caught on fire. It may be pissing off the other side, but it's still getting reaction, and it's letting people know, yeah, you can't be like pro-capitalism and pro-system government and be punk. No, actually, there's singers and people coming out from the artistic world. They're just like done with this shit.
Absolutely, I think that's really important. My daughter came around with a friend of hers, and they're artists in their own right. And I said, so do art that reflects this. If you can't voice this, you can put that symbolically in your art. You can put it symbolically in a song. There's so many ways that you can TERF. It doesn't have to be a conservative,
woman,
Yeah. It doesn't have to always be for 1,000 clicks on fucking Twitter. Do you know? Sometimes you do it because it gets done. You don't.
Sometimes you just need to stand up for the woman in front of you who's encountering a troon and being like towed off. You got to like have her back.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in the Dunnies, be the posy where she tells that guy, no, you're not coming into the women's space. That's standing in solidarity with your sister.
On every level, you just have to make women's voices heard by having your own voice heard.
That's right.
And then it will do a domino effect. If only one kind of woman can talk, then it's really saying that all the other women don't count. And then if those women, bring on the men and make the other women listen to the man, it's still saying that the man's voice is much more important in this.
Well, that's right, and that's what, yeah, and that's when the feed that was Kelly and Holly, when she said, they have the sympathy of the society. It's like, so fucking what? So what? So what if they got the sympathy of the majority? Big fucking deal. A lie is a lie, no matter how many people.
They have its algorithms that give them that. They give them the attention. I don't believe it's real. I believe it's totally a mind,
It's a mind fuck. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think in reality, you talk to normal people like I did, and they're the minority because they are a minority, and nobody really buys that shit. This is why they have problems dating. I'm sorry. Put your mouth.
I totally agree.
Trans women are you gonna fuck one? No, you're not, because you know the reality. You just want to enforce the gender roles.
Yeah, you just have to have a look at the algorithms that my daughter gets in her social medias and the algorithms that I get in mine. You just have to have a look at the two to see how they're actually tipping the system.
Even TERFs, we can't even because we'll be eliminated if we get like 10,000 or something. I haven't seen one of us break something like that because they will get rid of us. 1 strike, 2 strikes, very easily.
That's
I'm
right.
surprised Kelly J is still, being able to go. But she was kicked off of Twitter. She would have even more if she wasn't before.
Well, that's 5 years. 5 years she was away from Twitter. Not being able to build her audience, not being able to get her message for 5 years, just relying on YouTube, which YouTube is stacked to the wazoo anyway.
And even if you're on there, they give you shadow bans, and I tell you, the bots are totally against us. It's artificial, and it's because everybody is doing this authority thing, and this is from the top down. There's been studies where they test authority, where they will have 3 participants. Somebody who's playing like they're a subject. They're going to have somebody playing a role of authority, and they're going to have like the random person they're testing. And as long as the person who with authority is telling them to shock the other person, they will do it.
Yep.
But it's they're faking it. But the whole thing is that hearing the voice of authority, people follow authority. And so when you have the government, when you have the schools, when you have the teachers and the doctors, they are blindly just following because the voice of authority is being pushed on them.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to tell authority to fuck off. And that's why it's going to take women from the bottom to switch everything around. Because once you stand up to authority, other people realize, oh, I can do this. I don't have to play along with this insanity. What? I don't have to shock my friends.
That's
I
it.
really don't want to.
That's exactly right. And I even see it in the microcosm of the turban itself. You know what I mean? There's only a few that literally put their heads above the parapet, and all the rest literally they don't. Do you know what I mean? Like they're happy.
Like keep the line too. They will do the job for men. They're like, you're unhinged, or
oh fuck yeah,
this dude, and like get upset that I'm letting him talk. I'm like, well, you let him talk too fucking long about his fetish and how it's okay and how he was a loser, and that's the same as female oppression. Of course, gonna get upset. How is that unhinged?
Right.
It's unhinged to allow him to continue on.
That's it. We gatekeep ourselves
because we want
anybody that yep. And anybody sticks their head out too far, make sure we fucking lob their fucking heads off.
No polite woman ever fucking changed history, right? We didn't get these laws. Feminists didn't win these laws by being polite.
They didn't.
Playing along. No, you have to break the system down by being the woman that's going to say no.
Well, you have a look at the suffragettes. The suffragettes, a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, was having we were talking about the suffragettes, and even back then, she was like saying that you had the more elite or scholared women, and it was the working class, the bitches in the ditches, the wenches in the trenches that were doing the real work, and the glory was going to these ones, you never hear the names of the women who really did the real work.
No, you never do.
You'll never hear the names of the women who did the real work.
It's like the women that started this movement are probably lesbians, the radical feminists, but we all get blamed for it. They don't blame it on porn. They don't blame it on anything else. Right. They don't always blame feminists, but it's feminists who've been fighting this from the beginning. I mean,
that's right. You wanted equality, so men can be women now.
Right. Oh, let's take away your right to vote because this is what happens. No, it's you guys took over our movement, made it about men, and somehow it's our fault. No, of course not. We're not to blame for APGs. Those are men. We're the ones fighting against that.
That's right. And so, like there was footage a while back, VF, and it was footage of these two guys walking into a lesbian, it was an outdoor lesbian event. They were sort of standing there and you could see them walk off. And all it looked like was two men cosplaying at a lesbian event.
Right, of course. Well, that's going on. In fact, even gay men are on that. They are now calling themselves lesbians because it's a super popular thing to do. They think it's super sexy to be lesbians because it's the #1 porn category.
My fucking God.
Because it turns on straight men to envision lesbians. So they think, as gay men, how to get these straight men interested in them is to play lesbians. Isn't that fucking...
it just doesn't stop, does it?
No.
It just fucking doesn't stop.
And lesbians have to call ourselves non-men attracted to non-men, which is fucking ridiculous because our sexuality has nothing to do with men. Okay, that is non-men qualified.
Oh my God, that's nuts.
Right?
Oh, it just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's literally cosplaying. We're cosplaying
in the
a reality that doesn't belong to us.
The GLBT, which should be TERF and not trans, but they will tell a lesbian that they can't do their own event, even though these transbians can have their own event, but the lesbians are the ones that can't. The gay men still can because they're men, like they can still do their own shit. But
yeah.
dating site cannot exist because no, it's going to offend the men.
I was on the old Facebook the other day, and I noticed this. It was for a queer art exhibition, right? And I'm like, queer art exhibition, what does that mean? Like, can I apply? Can I put a piece of my stuff in there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, can I put my stuff in there? Am I allowed to have? Am I allowed to have a woman? Well, we're not allowed to have a woman event. We couldn't have a woman event without including men. But I bet you any money.
If you drew a big penis and put lesbian on it, you would be like the star of the show.
Yeah. It was fucking really confusing to me. I'm like, because I'm not conservative. I would never call myself conservative, but I'm certainly not fucking left.
You're weird, not queer.
Weird, not queer.
No spicy straight, like just a regular, brand of it, which is reality based.
I packed that shirt for New Zealand.
Well, next week I'm going to be visiting Brittany. I'm
Yes.
going to go to the Lear Thomas event where the speakers, Paula, is going to be speaking out against the perversions that she was submitted to. So and how it robbed her of opportunities and put her in like a sexual harassment case where they were gaslighted even by the therapy team that was supposed to brainwash them to be like, you're not a victim of this man perving on you.
So what day is that on?
Well, it's Monday when I get there. So I'll be in Philly for that. And then after that, we're going to do a little, promotion about Gallagher and tell the story about how all the money she's making because she's laughing all the way to the bank while she's like mutilating children. That's going to be my next big event for Halloween.
Ah.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to Halloween, actually.
Oh, turfs and Halloween. At least us goth ones.
I think it's going to be fun. I think
it's going to be a lot of political theater. It's going to be one of the best events for, creative reasons.
I think we need to get creative.
And we need the shock value. We really do. We need to have the public see the reality of what's going on, the horror show reality.
Yes. Because it's worse than any horror movie.
And she's getting paid for it too. Like,
that's right.
2,000 victims a year. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Teenage girls, who knows? Maybe one day they want to breastfeed. Maybe one day, they miss having a part of their body. They're in pain, from their nipples forever. Come on. This is she's in jail. Not to mention the ones that just die on the table because she'll operate on obese women that should not be like she has no moral scruples. You cannot sue her for anything. She doesn't even have insurance.
That blows my friggin' mind.
How she's not in prison when she's basically saying she wants to create eunuchs out of children. And she's totally on board with like operating on men to have these future pregnant men. Like Frankenstein is her idol.
We were talking about that, hey, the old Rocky Horror.
Oh yeah.
And that's some pretty interesting symbology in that movie, hey.
They ain't gonna talk about making you a man. Come on.
That's right. So what did they start with Rocky? They're gonna make him a man.
He was not born.
He wasn't
at
born.
all. He's just an experiment of body parts, and then hocus pocus, and then after he was born, there's like, let's make him do some sit-ups, and that will make him a man.
He was never born.
Right. Then that's how these people act. They act like if they got dead named, and then all of a sudden they have a brand new life. They did this experiment, and they're just like this brand new creation of the opposite sex via true trans. But it'll go back in time and say, I was always a man. Then why do you need to do this operation? They swear they were like in the womb now. They're going to be telling you that they have the wrong brains.
Yeah.
Yet they never test the brains of, first to be like, this is how you confirm that you're trans. Because it has nothing to do with brains. Men and women have different size brains, different DNA. There's nothing that could actually make a man's brain into a female's brain. It makes no sense. They have no wiring to like our body parts. This is why you have to pump them with hormones, and it doesn't create it to themselves, because a woman's brain creates all the hormones.
It's so fucked up. This is why we cannot, back to what we originally said, have a debate. I'm for no debate.
No woman should waste her time debating womanhood
with a man.
This is like debating with aliens what it's like to be a human. It's just,
it is.
Aliens don't exist, and neither do male women.
Yeah. I've even said to my partner, we are so completely different, me and you. The only way that we would be any different is if we were completely different species. That's how different we are. We're so different that the next point of differency is different species.
Biologically, there's less difference between a man and another man. There's barely any difference in their DNA structure.
That's right.
There's so much difference between male and female. It's not just one little code that they switch and then make X or Y. No, that's not how it works.
No.
There's so many factors in your chromosomes that is affected by the fact that you are female.
Oh,
your structure, your hands.
Here's a story for you. All right. Let's put this shit in perspective, right? So, had a birthday just recently, went camping, right? I love camping. Hubby fucking hates camping. Hates it. Right? So we go to this place, and it actually does have hot showers and dunnies, but the toilets, the dunnies are the drop, the drop, the bog drop, but it's actually got like this little building, and there's slats, holes in the slats. So I'm going in there, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, gee, I hope no man can get underneath this building and look up. I look up, there's a big carpet pie thing in the roof of the building, right? But I'm looking down. Here's the thing. I'm chatting to my husband over the fire, right? I'm saying to him, oh my God, I can't believe that. What were you, I'm like, I can't believe that. I was totally freaking out. And do you know what he said to me? He goes, did you visualize the bog monster too? This is my husband. Fucking 49 years old, and he says to me, did you visualize that bog monster coming up the dunny too? And I went, no.
I don't even understand.
No, I visualized some dirty perv underneath looking up through the cracks of the floor of the building. My husband visualized a bog monster. Why?
Yeah.
Because when we fear something, we fear fucking reality.
We fear the reality of male violence.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I'm fearing some lurker down below perving on me and any other woman in that shower area. My husband, love him dearly, sitting on that long drop dunning, and he's visualizing a bog monster might bite him on the ass, because let's be honest, he is that hyper predator in that whole building situation. He is the alpha predator, that man in that situation. So he actually does have a privilege to let his mind wander to a bog monster might come up and bite him on the ass, where I'm visualizing some dirty little pervs looking up at me and what other well, not me, because they would have got a heart attack, going, oh shit, wrong cubicle. But also I was worried about the teenage girls, and if there was dirty little teenage boys perving on these girls. But yes, When I am scared and I am worried, I'm worried about actual real threats.
And men are also so scared of other men. They are because they do,
Yes,
but not the same way we are. They know that they're not the target of sexual crimes the way we are.
that's right. Well, my husband's 6'2".
Unless they make themselves into a
Yeah.
doll thing, and then the signals to men that
Mm.
they are to be sexualized, and they do enjoy that. That validates their fetish, and they could easily just not do that. They could just take off the costume and not experience that.
Yeah.
To me, that
Well,
tells me that they want that experience, and when they do, they cheer it on. This is like
yeah.
validation for them.
Well,
That's
my
not the
hubby
experience
is,
of a woman.
yeah, he is a big man. He is a big, huge chunk of a
And
man.
putting on
Six foot
lipstick
two.
from
So he's not
makeup
worried
never
about
change that.
male violence
No,
from
of course
another
not.
man because he's a big man. He can hold his own. So he's worried about some mythical bog monster that might crawl up from the long box and bite him on the bum. That's his biggest concern, right?
Well, I hate bugs too, but
But when I said that to him, I'm like, no, I'm worried about actual predators and men and that, and you're worried about mythological bog monsters. He said, "You're never going to let me live this down, are you?" I'm like, no,
no.
no, I'm not. Because even after 30 years, we still don't see reality the same because you see it from a huge, big bloke's perspective, and I see it from a 5'1" woman's perspective.
Of course, there's going to be a world of difference. And my experience is going to be much closer to your experience because we can relate as women.
Yeah.
That's what we
I,
have
I wish I,
connecting us.
I wish I could be sitting on that long drop toilet worried about some mythical bog monster that might come and bite me on the bum. But instead, I'm more worried about the big cracks in the floorboards
Oh, yeah.
and
Every
some,
time I see that, I'm just like,
you know,
I'm okay with it around women because most of the time you're not going to worry about anything. But once you bring the men in, you worry about the cameras, you worry about the creeps, and you worry about some bloke who's going to be upset that you guard your back rooms to protect other women, and then he's going to beat you up because, you're going to get thrown out. You're the one who's going to get beat up by this bloke. He's going to break your fucking face. They tell us.
well, that's the thing. If you're a woman who actually, not all women like getting changed in front of other women too. Women are modest like that. So if you're a woman who's not comfortable really getting changed in front of anybody, and you just turn away to what you would normally do to get dressed, and some troons just clocked you and gone, "Oh, you're a transphobe."
Yeah. Basically, if you don't show them everything, give them what they want, you're a transphobe. If you want to suck their dick, you're a transphobe. Anything that breaks your little fantasy of they say it, they want it, and you won't give it to them, that's the way it's going. It's like rape will not be legal if every time you're a troon, you get away with pedophilia. How many of them have gotten away because they say they're trans? Or if you just give them more victims, like you could be a rapist, rape children, and they'll put you in a ward with little, with pregnant women with their children. I'm like, hello, reward. Let's just give them more victims.
That's just, yeah.
It's a pro-rape movement.
Oh, it is. It is. It was Rex actually who posted this thing the other day, and it was one of them literally saying, you know, at the end of this whole sort of bullshit, we should have like a lucky dip, and I'm like, what I mean is, you shouldn't be offended by the genitals that you see after you've already had an attraction. You go on, you get to that point, and when you've unwrapped your
You're
lucky
already assuming
dick,
that there's attraction because there's never been attraction between me and a troon. I'm sorry.
no, but this is what they think. This is what the troons think. That by that you unwrap that parcel and wham, hello, oh, it's a lucky dip. Oh, I got a boy dick or a girl dick. Like
Anyone that way.
it's never going to happen that way. That's how delusional they are.
But that's false advertising, okay? If
But
I'm
that's how
pretending to be a man and I'm trying to get with heterosexual women, of course, first of all, it wouldn't work, but let's just say I did the facial hair and I was balding, and, there's some of my swagger that convinced those heterosexual women that, yeah, I am a man. Trust me, I got those women that tell me this shit this way. Come on.
It's never gonna happen.
Those are just closeted women who want to be with women and have a little freaky fetish of masculine women. I'm sorry.
It's just no.
No, it's actually,
It's just no. But it's the thing is, it's
the
the
art
same.
thing. No, it just doesn't even function. There's just no way of selling that line.
Yeah, no.
It's a science fiction.
It's so much more than that, right? Like
Yeah,
it's so much. It's like it's
just
the
like my
feeling.
hand. Any woman holding my hand knows I'm a woman. I'm sorry. I have the hands of a hand model. It's very
Little hands,
yes,
little hands. I got little old hands.
yeah, exactly. You may not see it with the profession, on screen, but if you put it next to your husband's hands, hello.
Ah, huge difference. I got little girly hands to begin with, and
Yeah.
my hands go like this in my husband's hands. Like he can curl his fingers.
It's almost like a child to me, like the little hand.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just because I'm attracted. My thing is, I love tall men. Love tall men. Love tall, huge men. I'm 5'1". I've been accused of you should leave tall men to tall ladies. I've had that said to me.
Oh my
Like,
god.
yeah, no.
Neither do you like, and it doesn't even matter. Even as a woman, I would not be like open to all women. Like I am a lesbian, but I'm just not that horny. Okay.
Yeah, but you have your preferences of what
Yes, of
you're
course.
attracted to. Do you know?
I
Like,
talk to other lesbians, and they're like, there are lesbians that don't fit my type, and they're single and shit, and maybe but I don't feel it. I'm sorry. What can I do about
yeah.
it? You know?
No, I like long. I love long hair on a man. Like long, like if I come over to your country, I would be lost. I would be running around looking for. I do find Native American men very attractive. I love long hair, especially long straight hair in men. Love it. Love it. Can't even.
Yeah, but I'm sure if even one of those men cut their hair one time, it's not going to be like, oh my god, I don't feel anything for you.
No, of course. But again, if I'm,
You can tell them to go back to the hair, but
yeah. But again, that's one thing I do like. It's like, oh, here you go, like long hair. My daughter thinks it's hilarious. She goes, yeah, why would you want that?
Dating is discriminatory by nature. You're supposed to like find your one, or whatever does it for you. Why in the world would you date something you're not attracted to? And why would anyone guilt you for that? Like, how would that even be something you're interested in?
My husband used to have the most beautiful long straight brown hair. Now it's grey. 30 years later. This December, VF, 30 bloody years.
Well, that's an achievement.
I know, right? It's pretty crazy.
Well,
get out of jail free card.
I like to say goodbye to everybody tonight because this is a long chat that we've had, but an interesting one where we've covered true trans, we've covered the drama of the elitist, and we've covered random conversations about how men just don't think like women. Period.
They just don't.
Never will.
Never will.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for having me, VF. And next time we chat, I'll have Rex Landy with me.
Yes, I will have you back on the channel next week.
Yes.
Before your trip to Australia.
Yes,
to Kelly J.
Yeah, to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So it's called the Anzacs. Yeah, when the Aussies and New Zealanders get together. But anyway, thank you for having me.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Have a great night. Don't be polite. Stay rude.